Hey guys, Steve and Mike from Custom Nutrition Pro, and we are here at the grocery store because when people think about losing weight, usually what they assume is that all you got to do is eat clean, eat healthy, and move a little bit more, be a little more physically active, and you're going to lose weight. Well, what we're here to tell you is that in reality, some of the biggest culprits in terms of weight gain are what a lot of people consider to be the cleanest foods. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in there, we're going to find the 11 clean foods that are responsible for weight gain, and that's what we're going to show you right now. Come on in. Okay, number one, dried fruit. Who doesn't love dried fruit? Dried fruit is a good option because of the fiber, but typically what you're going to find is you're going to have a lot of sugar in these things. So let's take a look at some raisins and some cranberries here. Raisins, we're looking at a quarter cup of about 130 calories, so you're going to be well over 500 if you have a whole cup. And dried cranberries, you're looking at about the same. So dried fruit, good option from the fiber perspective, but definitely calorically dense by the time you take that moisture and the water out of the fruit. So definitely something that can pack on some pounds if you eat too much of it. Okay, so the second one that people often consider healthy but can actually pack some serious calories is granola. So we found a couple of examples of granola here. The first one being a Wild Harvest granola, and the second one being Nature's Path Organic. You can see that well, you can't see, but I'm going to tell you. The Wild Harvest is for a half cup about 260, and that's pretty close to what we'll find, about 500 calories per cup, depending on the brand and whatnot. And then the other example here being a quarter cup is 140, so you're definitely over 500 by the time you have a cup of this. So the bottom line is very calorically dense, high carbs, high sugars. Okay, number three, talking mixed nuts. Mixed nuts have got to be healthy, right? Especially if we don't have a ton of flavoring and a ton of salt. Well, let's take a look. All right, what they're showing here is 170 calories for an ounce. That's going to run for a cup. You're going to have about a cup of mixed nuts is going to be just shy of 700 calories. So that's pretty calorically dense. And I'm not seeing any salting or any other seasoning on these. So they got a little bit of sea salt on these, but that's not going to affect the macros a whole lot. But bottom line is a very calorically dense food that people think is healthy that can actually help you pack on the pounds. Okay, so the next one is truffles. A lot of people think they can lose a lot of weight just downing truffles.
Dude, that's candy.
Oh, disregard. All right, next up, pretty much whole grain anything. You'll find that the food companies love to put whole grain in front of it to make you think that it's healthy and something you can probably eat to lose weight, but in fact, a lot of the whole grain items are pretty calorically dense. So one example would be whole grain bread. In this case, we're finding that one slice of the bread is about 110 calories, so obviously two would be in the ballpark of 220. And you put that in combination with whatever meat or anything else you're going to put on the sandwich, and at that point you're talking about racking up a few calories. So, all right, so we talked about whole grain bread. The next whole grain we're going to talk about is pasta. A lot of people think that if they can switch from normal pasta to whole grain pasta, they're going to be in a better position from a caloric perspective. Well, the reality is, if you look at something like this, which is whole grain pasta, 3/4 of a cup is at about 180 calories. So most people are going to eat at least a cup and a half if they're going to have it with a meal. And of course they'll put them at 360, and that doesn't even include what they put on top of pasta. So if you're talking even just butter or marinara sauce or anything else, you're obviously going to be well over 500 and still pretty calorically dense. All right, so again, we're talking whole grains. In this case, we're talking whole grain bagels. Whole grain bagels have got to be good for you, right? Well, in this case, I think a lot of this is actually something a lot of people know now, but that bagels are actually pretty calorically dense, sometimes even more than donuts or other things you might assume to be less quote-unquote healthy. But we got this Thomas brand here, and one of these bagels is 240 calories. And that's actually, from what we've seen, actually a little lower than some of the other ones that you'll find. So even though it's whole grain, it still packs some calories with it. And here's the other thing to think about. When is the last time you had a bagel by itself? Well, you're almost always going to make it into a sandwich or put some cream cheese on it, or at a minimum some butter, peanut butter, something like that. So by the time you do that, and you have you're starting at 240 calories, pretty easy to get up in the 400 or 500 range pretty quick. Next up, hummus. Everybody loves hummus, and it's very good for you, right? Yes, it is, but it's also very calorically dense. So we'll take this one as an example. 2 tablespoons, we're looking at in the ballpark of about 60 calories. And by the time you multiply that out, if you're going to have, say, a cup of this, it's going to be just shy of 500 calories. And oh, by the way, that does not include the shovel, which is whatever you're using to get it to your mouth. Most people don't just spoon hummus by itself, or even if it's with vegetables or something. Still, you're going to have other things that go into the caloric factor than just the hummus. So another one to consider. Next up, the Mighty Avocado. Now this is a very healthy thing to eat. You obviously have a lot of the great, or the good fats in this, but what you may not know is that from an avocado, you're gonna get about 250 calories per piece. So you have a couple of these, you throw one of these on your salad, it's definitely gonna bump the caloric total for whatever you're eating, or whether it's a salad or guacamole or whatever it happens to be. Side note, you know how to test whether an avocado is ripe? I'm gonna show you right now. See the little knob right there? You give that a little flick and it comes off easy, it's right. This one, because it did not come off easy, is not right. I don't know if that's true, but that's what my wife tells me. So the next one we got is fruit juices and smoothies. They're fruits, they're vegetables, they're juices, they gotta be healthy, right? Well, the way to consider these is they're kind of like sneaky calories. So as one example, we have a strawberry banana fruit fusion here, and we're looking at about 120 calories per cup on that. 120 calories isn't huge, but by the time you have a couple cups a day and or a smoothie where you're gonna add in a bunch of different fruits and other things into it, it's easy to go from 120 to 240 and you go over 400 or 500 calories. So definitely something to be aware of is the fruit juices. All right, number 10, olive oil. Now olive oil's got to be good for you, right? Because it's another one of those natural, another thing you can buy organic if you want to. So the thing to keep in mind with something like olive oil and some of the other oils is that there are things that we add to food items that we don't necessarily think about the caloric value of. So let's take a look at this. Bertolli, a very common brand of extra virgin olive oil. The serving size of 1 tablespoon has 120 calories. So the fact of the matter is most of the time we're going to use more than 1 tablespoon, and we're not necessarily going to count the calories when we do it. So if you use 2 or 3 tablespoons, you're easily going to be in the 300 to 500 range in terms of the additional calories that you've got on whatever it is you're already eating. Okay, as a bonus, number 12, who doesn't love trail mix? Trail mix has got nuts, dried fruit, sometimes some chocolate, but it's got all kinds of good stuff in it, right? Well, if you're looking at this example right here, you're at over 150 calories for a quarter cup, which obviously puts you well over 500 calories if you're gonna have a whole cup of it, which, who eats a cup of trail mix? I don't know about you, but if I get a hold of this, the whole bag's gonna be gone pretty quick. So great if you're on the trail or if you're exerting some calories, but if you're just gonna be snacking and trying to lose weight, it's probably not the best option. Next, we're gonna talk about agave. We did not have it at the store, but I do have it at home, so we're talking about it here. One of the things you'll hear with agave is that it's allegedly a better sweetener option because it's got a lower glycemic index rating. And what that means is that it's going to cause a slower insulin response than other sweetener options. Now, a number of the studies we've been looking at have said that's actually not the case, but regardless, the point is that it still has calories associated with it. Now, you can see in this particular brand, which is the Wholesome Sweetener Organic Blue Agave, you're looking at a tablespoon of 60 calories. So if you're going to use a couple tablespoons on whatever it is you're eating, that's obviously going to rack up 120, 180 pretty quick. So another example where people think it's healthy, think it's a better option, but it's still got a number of calories associated with it. So you gotta be aware. Okay, so are we saying that you shouldn't eat these things? Definitely not. Oh, do we need to go look for puppies? Okay, we'll be back. Hey guys, we were gonna finish the video yesterday, but somebody decided it was time to quit working and start playing, so we're gonna finish it now. Obviously at this point we've talked about the 11 foods that are capable of packing on the pounds, and so are we saying that you absolutely should not eat those foods? Of course not. All those are really, for the most part, nutritious, good foods to eat, and just like their reputation, they're healthy. So you look great. Thank you. You're so sweet. Oh yeah. But here's the point. While they may be healthy, because they're calorically dense, it's very easy to get to a caloric surplus while eating them if you're not paying attention. And caloric surplus is going to be different for everybody. So it'll be different for me and different for you, and it's based on things like your height and your age and your weight and your activity level, metabolism, etc. And what we've found is that you can absolutely eat all those things and enjoy them and lose weight if they're within the context of an effective plan. So that's what we want to help you with. We want to help you with knowing exactly what that plan looks like for you and exactly what that effective macronutrient breakout and caloric total is for you as an individual. So if you're ready to learn more about that, That's what we want to help you with. So go ahead and click the link below and we'll tell you all about it.